The Qing Dynasty, 1644 to 1912, represents one of the longest and most significant periods in Chinese history, embodying both great achievements and profound failures. As the last dynasty of China's feudal system, it lasted almost 300 years, leaving a deep impact on every aspect of Chinese culture, society, politics, and philosophy, originating from the Manchu people in northeastern China. The Qing traced their lineage back to the Jurchen tribes. In 1616, the tribal leader Nurhaci established the later Qing dynasty with ambitions of unifying the Manchu tribes and strengthening his military forces. Later, his son Hong Taiji renamed the dynasty Qing and expanded their power southward, with the military assistance of Ming General Wu Sangui, who defected. The Qing marched into Beijing in 1644, marking the fall of the Ming dynasty and the establishment of a new era. From the outset, the Qing faced numerous challenges as they attempted to control and govern a majority Han population, while being an ethnic minority themselves. To address this complex situation, the Qing implemented conciliatory policies toward the Han, retaining many of their customs, cultural practices, and traditional bureaucratic systems. Most notably, they maintained the civil service examination system, allowing Han Chinese to participate in exams and obtain governmental positions. This continuity helped the Qing consolidate power, stabilize society, and reduce potential resistance from the Han majority. Through this system, Han intellectuals were selected for significant roles within the state apparatus, creating a sense of fairness and stability in a multi-ethnic society. However, to affirm their supremacy, the Qing imposed certain coercive regulations, such as mandating that Han men wear the Manchu-style Q hairstyle, a symbol of submission to Manchu authority. This was initially met with widespread resentment among the Han people, as it was not only an appearance requirement but also a symbol of the Manchus' dominance over them. Nonetheless, this mixture of conciliatory and assertive policies proved successful, enabling the Qing to maintain control over a vast population and secure their power in the early years. The Qing's golden age came during the reigns of three prominent emperors, Kangxi, Yongzheng, and Qianlong. Together, they ruled for roughly 135 years, a period marked by prosperity in economics, culture, and military strength. Emperor Kangxi, 1661 to 1722, widely regarded as one of the most exceptional rulers in Chinese history, implemented various reforms to stabilize and advance the empire. He enacted tax reforms, promoted agriculture, reduced taxes on farmers, and fostered education and cultural pursuits. Kangxi also expanded the empire's borders, secured territorial integrity, and encouraged the compilation of scholarly works, fostering a flourishing academic and intellectual environment. Following Kangxi, Emperor Yongzheng, 1722 to 1735, continued policies of strict governance and anti-corruption. Known for his frugality and dedication, Yongzheng took measures to supervise and prevent corruption among officials by establishing special regulatory and inspection bodies. These measures improved administrative efficiency and strengthened the people's confidence in the imperial court. He also prioritized border security, social order, and economic stability, laying a strong foundation for the development that would continue under Qianlong's rule. Emperor Qianlong, 1735 to 1796, reigned for an extended period and continued the achievements of Kangxi and Yongzheng, propelling the Qing dynasty to its cultural and territorial zenith. Under Qianlong, the Qing expanded to its largest territorial extent, governing Xinjiang, Tibet, and Mongolia. This era saw China as one of the most extensive and powerful empires in Asia. Qianlong also valued the preservation and development of culture, art, especially calligraphy, and painting. He commissioned the compilation of the Siku Quanshu, a monumental collection of literature, history, and knowledge, the largest of its kind in Chinese history. However, his reign also marked the onset of imperial decadence. as opulent spending and neglect of administrative oversight gradually depleted the state treasury, foreshadowing the dynasty's eventual decline and challenges in the following centuries. With a conservative approach to foreign relations and an insular mindset, the Qing rejected open trade and diplomatic ties with the West, while European countries were undergoing rapid industrialization and expanding their global influence. This reluctance to open borders not only hindered economic growth but also left China increasingly outdated compared to the outside world. Britain, in particular, saw trade restrictions with China as intolerable and resorted to military force, leading to the Opium Wars, 1839 to 1842. The wars concluded in Qing defeat, forcing the dynasty to sign the Treaty of Nanking in 1842, which ceded Hong Kong to Britain, opened key ports like Shanghai and Canton to foreign trade, and imposed a host of unequal trade terms. This was the first instance in which a Chinese dynasty had to endure such humiliation at the hands of Western powers. The Treaty of Nanking marked the beginning of a series of other unequal treaties that the Qing were forced to sign with powers such as France, Germany, Russia, and Japan. These treaties diminished China's territorial, economic, and political sovereignty, placing the empire in a state of dependency on Western countries. Concessions were established in major cities like Shanghai and Hong Kong, which became centers of Western culture and commerce, heightening public resentment towards the Qing court. Internally, the Qing faced severe issues as well. Corruption was rampant among officials, and the lavish lifestyle of the royal family drained the imperial treasury. Under the rule of Empress Dowager Cixi, who held substantial power for decades, the Qing court grew increasingly conservative and stagnant. Cixi not only became notorious for her extravagant lifestyle but also obstructed progressive reforms, leaving China in a state of backwardness and instability. Many uprisings erupted across the country, the most notable being the Taiping Rebellion, 1850 to 1864, led by Hong Xiuquan. This rebellion, advocating social and religious reforms with promises of equality, attracted millions of followers hoping to create a fairer society. Lasting more than a decade, it caused catastrophic losses in terms of lives and resources, severely weakening the imperial army and pushing the Qing further into crisis. In response to escalating external and internal pressures, some progressive officials initiated the self-strengthening movement in the late 19th century, aimed at modernizing China's military and industrial sectors based on Western models. Factories for weapon production and shipbuilding facilities were established, and Western experts were invited to improve military and industrial capabilities. However, the movement lacked unified support from conservative factions within the court, as well as a long-term and coherent plan, leading to limited success. The peak of reform efforts was the 100 Days Reform in 1898, launched by Emperor Guangxu with the intent to modernize education, the military, and administrative systems. Yet, after only 103 days, this reform was abruptly crushed by Empress Dowager Cixi, extinguishing hopes for change and eroding the public's confidence in the Qing dynasty's ability to adapt. As dissatisfaction grew, particularly among intellectuals and reform-minded individuals, democratic and republican ideas from the West began to gain traction, especially among younger generations and the emerging middle class. Sun Yat-sen, a democratic revolutionary, emerged as a prominent leader, organizing a movement to overthrow the Qing. The Xinhai Revolution of 1911 began with an uprising in Wuchang and quickly spread nationwide, garnering widespread support. Within a year, the Qing dynasty had fallen. On February 12, 1912, the last emperor of the Qing dynasty, Huai, formally abdicated, ending over 2,000 years of China's imperial history and heralding the Republic of China. Despite its fall, the Qing dynasty left a rich cultural legacy, from imperial architecture like the Forbidden City and the Summer Palace to literary and artistic works. These legacies reflect a peak in traditional Chinese art and culture. However, the Qing's greatest lesson lies in the importance of reform and adaptation to the changing world. the refusal to embrace technological advancements, the conservative approach to foreign policy, and internal failures to modernize ultimately rendered the dynasty unable to withstand pressures from both within and without. The lessons of the Qing dynasty not only hold historical significance, but also serve as a reminder to all nations of the essential need for change, justice, and ethnic unity